Recently, I have considered what should be remained among various aspects or among various facets among many features of Japanese culture. So so this country has produced or this country or the culture of this the culture of this country. It's not it's not it's not usual. It's not a usual expression. So how should I say? So I think most of you can understand the difference between the culture and state was a country. Meaning, for example, so United States had the United States has many cultures, but for example, I live in Japan, and for example, South Korea. I live in Japan, and South Korea is a next door on. South Korea is a neighbor country, and South Korea has one culture which is a Korean culture, and so in each case, South Korea is a country comprising almost only one culture, and of course this is a case to I think my country and but actually so I think it's controversial meaning so so this country has some minority groups and to start with so so this country has various aspects of Japanese culture so I it's fine to say it's fine to use the singular form for the words Japanese culture, but actually, so so to start with, the eastern area was the eastern region, and the western region have totally different cultures in my country. So which is why so the eastern this country has many types of cultures, which is why so it can be possible to say Japanese cultures using the plural form, and and anyway, so I began to talk about so anyways, but actually, so as a whole, or as the entire Japanese culture, so this culture has produced many things, and one of the remarkable examples is manga or comic books, for example, Naruto or Doraemon or Pocket Monsters, and another one is, for example, cars are I mean, those cars, I mean, vehicles or luxury, not the luxury vehicles. So I almost said luxury using the pronunciation R, but actually, so my mother tongue doesn't distinguish the difference between L and R. So the correct spelling is luxury. But so what I tried to say was recreational vehicle. Recreational vehicles are cars, and which means, for example, Beetle of Volkswagen is a car, and another word is, for example, Lamborghini. I shouldn't pick up Lamborghini as an example. Anyway, what else should I pick up? For example, another car. So Peugeots have cars, and Peugeots make cars, and Peugeot is a French automotive company. That French automotive company, and anyway, so and this country has Toyota, which is the name of a company, and Toyota, Honda, Nissan are brands or famous companies of my company, and they are automotive companies. Um, anyway, so I'm among them. So I think horror stories or Japanese horrors, the Japanese horrors should be remained, and why I began to what should be remain or should remain or Japan among them the Japanese horrors should remain or should be preserved in and preservation can be can be awkward in British English or can be awkward or can be strange can be a strange expression. That is because so so maybe what I have imagined is that so somebody should should keep creating. For example, I mean, in the case of Japanese horrors, somebody should find out horror stories and should keep creating content about them. And so, which is what I'm imagining, what I'm thinking. And why I began to talk about this is that, so as I have told you from the beginning, I mean from the beginning, not from the beginning of this episode, but from the beginning of this podcast itself. And I began to speak English. I mean, I began to create podcast contents. Well, I began to create audio contents using the English language. That is because, so, and if you are frequent listeners of my podcast, I, I think you have already know why I began to speak English using why using English language for creating audio contents, and that is because, so, this country has fast, rapidly declining population, and the fertility rate of this country is 1.20 some 26 or something, and the fertility rate of this country is keeping declining every year, and this country has a declining population, and the economy is not doing well compared with countries. I mean, not only compared with other developed countries, but also compared with other remarkable developing countries. Particularly, China is surging, and recently China is getting into a phase of deflation. I don't know much about the detailed situations of Chinese economy, and recently the unemployment of Chinese young people has increased, or has risen, which is an information which is information I have got recently through online articles. And anyways, I'm sorry for my clumsy manner of speaking English, and please forgive me. And that is because my mother tongue is Japanese, and I'm speaking English non-natively. Well, I can't speak English natively to start with. Anyway, so I'm sorry for this long time of digression. And this time, wait a moment, please. I'm going to tell you the title and the conclusion of this episode. Wait a moment, please. This time, so the palmister is a must see, and the conclusion is one of the benefits of studying Japanese is to enjoy horror stories, and there's a so this country has many tellers of horror stories. Or this country has many horror storytellers, and not like fortune tellers, but actually, so another kind of people. And what I'd like to say is that, so there are some people who speak out, or who tell horror stories to their audience, and which is the type of people I'm talking about. And one of the remarkable person one of the remarkable persons, or one of the remarkable people among those horror storytellers is not horror storyteller, but horror storytellers is Mr. Shuhei Shimada, and who is a palmist or palmist. I haven't known this word until this recent time, but actually, and he does palmistry, yes, palmistry, reading the lines of human palms, and so he's a palmist or a palmist, and maybe he is a comedian, I think, but actually recently he creates many horror, and he doesn't create horror stories, and his style of, and by the way, he has a account of YouTube, and he has created many videos, and yes, he has created many videos, and in his channel of YouTube, he invites he invites some tellers of horror stories, and some people are tellers of horror stories, and as others are others are, for example, comedians, and who have some horror stories, or who knows some horror stories, and some in some cases, and some people have some some people having experienced the horror events are invited into his YouTube channel, and he captures their videos, and upload videos, maybe. And so anyway, which is his style of creating videos, and yes, and so he has, and I'm creating this episode in 2023, and he has uploaded more than 1,000 videos. And anyway, so if you have some knowledge about some knowledge, if you have learned Japanese language, or if you have high proficiencies of Japanese language, I recommend. And if you, I mean, another condition, another necessary condition is that if you are interested in horror stories, and if you are interested in horror stories of Japan, and I recommend his channel, and his videos are not his videos are not television dramas, or what was alike, but actually, so and in his manner, and in his YouTube channel, and you can see videos in which he has appeared to those videos, and please imagine each of those videos, and he appears to that video, and as a invited, or as a guest appear to that video, or and almost all videos are created in that manner, and which is why, so guests are invited, and appear to those videos, and he had said on the right side of each video, and which I think is recent style. And anyway, so, and he has other styles of creating videos. For example, so I have seen a video in which, so and all of them wear pajamas, and they tell their own horror stories, and but actually, they tell horror stories, but actually, Mr. Shimada Mr. Shimada praises other people, or for example, and your speaking manner of horror stories was really great, and for example, another aspect is that, and he tried to entertain other people, and and for example, he intentionally makes fun of some guests, and and for creating, so entertaining, or happy atmosphere, or funny atmosphere, and which is because, which is an, so ordinary manner of creating television programs, or television programs, yes, and which is why, so it's not a thing like, he's really he's really a, sinister person, but actually, he's just generally speaking, he's a comedian, and he's trying to entertain the audience. What he's in the case of YouTube, he's trying to entertain the viewers. And anyway, so, if you are interested in horror stories, and if you do not hate horror stories, I recommend his YouTube channel. And to access the YouTube channel of Mr. Shimada, or Mr. Shuhei Shimada, and please take a look at the description column of this episode, so that you can find out the link leading to his channel of YouTube. And this is all the stuff I'd like you to know this time, and I'm sorry for my long time of digressions. Anyway, so, and by the way, so some horror stories are dangerous. For example, I don't tell you the exact topic of that horror story, that he had said that and those are if some people talk about that horror story, and the actual ghost of that horror story comes to those people, which is, there's such type of horror stories, and if you have no idea about that, so anyway, so please imagine that there's a horror story and there's a ghost in that horror story, and if you talk about if you speak out the actual content of that horror story, and that ghost comes to you, there's such a horror story, and I don't tell you the exact title of that horror story, but actually there's such a horror story, so please be careful if you have some knowledge of Japanese language. And this is all. Anyway, wait a moment, please. The title is "The Palmister is a must-see," and the conclusion is one of the benefits of studying Japanese is to enjoy horror stories. And I think this is the case. I think this is the case. One of the benefits of, and if you want money, and if you are thinking of studying Japanese language for making money, and I recommend that you study other West European languages, and another way to make money for by working in developed countries is to work in the United States or Canada, or North American countries are what the countries I recommend anyway, and other countries I recommend are West European countries. And to start with, this country is declining, so and this country is rushing or plunging into a darker future, and which is why I do recommend that you come to this country for becoming rich. And anyway, so but actually studying Japanese has many upsides, and one of which is to to listen to and enjoy horror stories. And this is all the stuff I'd like you to know this time. And I have told you the title and the conclusion of this episode. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. See you.